Hey everyone, it's McGuire. I'm going to cover something pretty personal in Brennan. Pretty personal in just a moment. And yes, it will involve Toy Story. And yes, I strategically chose to balance a paper towel holder on one side with a glimpse of partially article, but mainly IKEA furniture on the other. That's not in boxes. I still have to unpack. How much IKEA furniture? Enough. Enough to explain why Sweden's entire economy is no longer reliant on timber exports or iron ore or meatballs because they have me. And in this video, I want to share with you exactly why I love teaching. And I'll give you an update on my startup and how I'm thinking about fear and software and AI. But we are 13 days into the new year, which means I only have 13 seconds for this update. 6 goals so far, knocked out 2, missed 1, got it done, but late. This week makes it 6. Highlights include 2 calls with my accountants, including all filing considerations for operating out of New York City, corporation considerations in Delaware, and we locked in our trademark strategy for the new name, which... No time for the new name. So, on to the personal thing. 3 of those weekly goals were due today. And next week's going to be all about the business plan. So, when doing a lot of the work, a lot of the thought, a lot of the research into that early part of the business plan, I wanted to share some of those thoughts, particularly around the problem statement and the solution statement for my business. And if you look at the professional education market, if we look at the problem, if we look at the professional education market, and to be really clear, by professional education market, I'm talking about education products and services that are teaching skills, software, things that are related to a job that someone does that earns a living. So it can be a freelancer, it can be someone who's at an agency, at an in-house team, but it's teaching the tools, teaching the software, teaching the services necessary to get a professional who's earning a living doing that thing up and running or more advanced. So if we look at that professional education market right now, it's flooded with noise. There's really great stuff out there, but it's also mixed in with not so good stuff out there. And in that category, we have almost a race to the bottom. And that's because historical education, by that I mean, before AI, we were so used to asking binary questions, especially when it comes to things like documentation. We say, is there a video for that? Yes or no. Did you search the documentation? Yes or no. And those types of questions, that type of stuff, it's so very quickly getting replaced with large language models like ChatGPT. And that's fine. That's beautiful. That's a really good thing. But even the way it worked before, that kind of binary is there documentation for it? Yes or no. Does it work? Yes or no. That usually works best for a simple thing. Changing a tire, debugging the self-clean timing on a Toto K300 bidet toilet seat so it doesn't wake you at 4 a.m. sounding like a pipe burst. We've all done it. We've all been there. But we're in an era of software and AI that desperately needs humanity and connection and humor. Because in so many ways, up until now, we've settled for just getting by. Education, IKEA catalogs, IKEA documentation. What's that called? The assembly instructions, the IKEA instructions. A basic thing that if you follow a simple sequence, you'll get there. It'll happen most of the time. But if that kind of education is only about solving a short-term, kind of a one-time problem, to get out of a snag, to assemble some furniture, to pass a test, to get a job, I want to talk about why that won't scale and why that's actually a problem. So right now, as it's 2024 and we're launching into what is obviously going to be the biggest technical revolution since ever, it's kind of hard for a lot of us who are familiar with that and who are using these tools to understand not just the curiosity that others might have, but the fear that so many people are going through right now when they hear terms like AI or LLM. And people often fear what they don't understand. That's a lot of the problem. And I'm not talking about AI safety. I'm talking about the professional population of workers, a lot of knowledge workers who think that the binary is, will I have a job in 5 years versus will I not have a job in 5 years or even sooner? And that's a huge consideration. That's what I'm talking about. There's a giant percentage of these knowledge workers who haven't yet realized that they are on the cusp of becoming 10 times more productive or 10 times more creative or just effective in their role, or maybe another role, a new role. So what is the solution? There's going to have to be a lot of solutions for this. But for me, How can I contribute? How can my business contribute? Well, we're going to make learning software and learning AI human. And that means it has to be engaging and it has to be fun. And we're taking a totally different approach. And I'm really happy to share some of that approach right now, which is rather than relying on just a talking head, so like this right now, there will be some of that. But we're going to get the best people together, actually together. It doesn't have to be the best teachers. Sometimes these are experts in AI or development or software. And we're going to get them all under one roof. And we're going to have these conversations. That's the basis for a great curriculum. You don't just want one person or a small team making unilateral decisions on the best way to do a thing. You want to get the smartest, often disagreeing people in a room together and have it out. Have some of these conversations. Talk about what they've learned, those tips, those tricks. Because the most magical moments, if you've ever been to a conference, I remember my first major tech conference I went to was October 25th, 2001. And that was notable for that date was notable for two different things. One, it was Vlad's birthday. And two, it's a huge deal. It was the launch of Windows XP. And I was like a Windows XP beta tester super fan. And I remember it was the first experience that it was cool to get out of school at the time, but it was the first experience where I was surrounded by people that were all into the same type of software or into a similar type of thing. And it was interesting because I was certainly on the younger end of folks who were attending, but it was great to, especially during lunch, to have these conversations with other people who are learning, oh, did you know that you could do this specific thing with compatibility mode in Windows XP? And it's like, I don't know, it's just this amazing moment. And if you fast forward almost 20 years, I'm still having those moments every time I go to a conference. You get a group of people together and you have these just organic, natural conversations. And you're sharing ideas. You're sharing what you're passionate about. You're sharing, oh my God, did you hear about that new feature? Oh my God, how are you going to use it? And it's just like this amazing energy. I want that to be at the core. What could be more human than people who are super passionate, super knowledgeable about a thing, whether it's a specific piece of software, an AI tool, whatever that is, to get them together, to have those discussions, to film those discussions, and let that serve as the core of the curriculum. Now, that's not all the teaching. In fact, there will be teaching layered into this and around this everywhere. So the traditional, there's a computer, there's a person that's teaching a thing, you're seeing the screen. Of course, that's part of it. But it's breaking out of that dynamic and realizing that you can actually integrate not just conversations, but you can integrate insights from more than just one person. You can integrate insights from the smartest, sometimes disagreeing people that have different approaches to these things to empower more and more people who are out there who may have an opportunity to dramatically increase their productivity or their creativity, and give them the tools, the insights, the knowledge that they need to do it. So if you think about why I teach, I don't know if you'd think about it, but when I think about why I teach, or if you think about why you might like to teach, there's something that keeps coming up. There's a pattern. And for me, for the longest time, since my first computer, which ran Windows, no, it was DOS, but my first Windows computer since Windows 3.1, there's this amazing thing that happens. And it's when you figure something out. And it doesn't matter if it's you playing around with it and it clicks, or you ask someone on a forum, or you call up a friend or a colleague that's an expert in this area. But when you figure a thing out, there is this aha moment, this click that's like no other. And it's this moment where you realize that something you were previously incapable of doing, you're now capable of doing. And that's like a superpower. That's wild. We could go into so much detail. I'm sure everyone has examples of this that happen all the time. For me, it happens all the time with video. It definitely happened with Webflow in terms of visual development as opposed to code-based development. There are so many of these things that are magical. I love that moment. The problem is, or maybe the opportunity, but the problem is that moment only happens for that thing once, unless you teach it. And that to me is what's magical, because when you teach it, you can see that aha moment in someone else. You're giving someone else that same moment that you had where you're like, holy crap, I can do this thing. I didn't know I could do this thing. And then I figured out how to do it. And there's just like this feeling of when you figure that out, you want to share it with someone. You want someone else to have that experience. It's like when you share a piece of music with someone, or you cook for someone. There's a million examples of this, but it's this moment where we want to share something with someone else that brings them joy or happiness or decreases their stress, especially when it comes to software. I'm so confused. I'm banging my head against the wall because I can't figure out this thing. How do I do this? Help. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. That's to me, the more I've thought about it over the years, the number one reason I teach. I want to create aha moments for other people. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what is at the core of this. If we look at the McGuire's hierarchy of needs, that has to be at the core. That has to be at the core. I love software. I am starting to love so many of these AI tools. And for me, I love teaching the things that I love. That's it. And those of you who know me, especially those who know me well, know that sometimes it takes me a bit longer to get to that aha moment than the average person. I will really break something down into the most fundamental parts. You got to teach it to me multiple times. And that can be a new feature, a new technology, whatever. It takes a while for that to click. But once I do know it, I can usually teach it better than anyone. And when I can't, I want to bring the smartest, the most driven, the most engaging, the most effective people together so that they can. And I want to create more of those aha moments so that we can replace that fear or start to replace that fear, replace those unknowns with knowledge and confidence and understanding. I want to use AI, but I also want to work with other humans to teach other humans all about software and AI. So if we have to make this transition we're about to go through, if we have to make that work, then we got to make learning that stuff human. We got to make learning software and AI human. Learning should not be boring. So the way I look at it is we're here to create the best courses in the world that teach software and AI. And the best way to do that is to bring the best people in the world together, all under the same roof, to make learning software and make learning AI engaging and fun. Anyway, it's Saturday, it's before midnight, and this has been my day 13 startup update and a little bit about why I teach. I just want to say thank you if you've made it this far. This is a longer update. I appreciate it. I want to thank everyone who's reached out with words of encouragement, with ideas. And I want to thank my Uncle Nelson, who we had a phone call last night, and he got me thinking about why don't you share your why? I was already working on some of that in the business plan, but that really kind of got me thinking about this a little bit differently today. So we did the update in 13 seconds. I don't know what you're still doing around because the update was over very long ago. Anyway, thanks everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend and have a great start to your next week. See you out there. Epilogue. I realized I didn't cover the Toy Story thing. So let me talk very briefly about why all of this relates to Toy Story. So in Toy Story, the characters, their motivation, the reason those characters exist, the toys, is they just want to be played with. That's their motivating intention. That's why they exist. And I think if you look at whatever your profession is or whatever the thing you're trying to do, it can be like that professionally for a lot of people. For me, that's me and teaching or reaching those aha moments. I feel like the big motivating, the reason professionally that I add value to other people is hopefully from time to time, I can get them to have those aha moments, or I can give them the tools or work with someone else to get them the things they need so that they too have those aha moments. So that's the Toy Story part. With that, for real this time, it's 11:35 p.m. I am signing off for the evening. Thanks, everyone.